For a third straight day, search crews are scouring parts of Orange County, Florida. They're looking for possible remains of 3-year-old Caylee Anthony.
I know that Caylee's remains are out there somewhere.
A dejected Tim Miller says his Texas EquiSearch has spent nearly $100,000 on the search for Caylee.
It breaks our heart to leave again without finding Caylee.
Miller says he doubts Caylee's remains will ever be found unless Casey Anthony comes out with more information.
Is your daughter in a better place?
No, she's not.
Are you worried about her?
I'm absolutely petrified.
Bounty hunter Leonard Padilla returned to Florida for the search. Now he's attacking the mother he once defended for causing pain for so many people across the country.
If you really want to delve into the mind of Casey, you'd have to dig real deep into some shrink's ugly book, because she is an ugly-minded little person.
Straight out to Mark Williams to WNDB News Talk 1150. Mark, that was quite a search. It's been going on since Saturday. How many people were searching?
Well, initially, they had hoped 5,000 people would come out and search. They got about 1,500 on Saturday. That dwindled to
I was
about...
told over 2,000 volunteers, bounty hunters, and searchers showed up from all across the country.
That was over a 2-day period of time, Nancy. That's
a lot of people, Mark Williams. 2,000 people?
It is. It is a lot of people, and they had 132 places to look at. They broke it down into a 1-mile square grid, and they went out there. They found a lot of animal bones, but no remains of Casey. Now, Leonard Padilla has taken up the search for little Caylee Anthony. EquiSearch and Tim Miller is going to the Carolinas because he has other business up there.
I understand, Mark Williams, that EquiSearch searchers are staying. Although Tim Miller is going to the Carolinas, EquiSearch searchers are staying along, as well as Padilla and his bunch.
Yeah, okay. And Mandy Albritton from EquiSearch is probably in town. I have not talked to her yet, but I have talked to Leonard Padilla, and today he sent 2 divers into the Econ River on the strength of a picture that was taken back in August during a search. It was a picture of a makeshift cross on a tree. In that picture, Nancy, it showed that there were some arts and crafts that made up that cross, the same type of arts and crafts that were found in Casey Anthony's room, discovered there by one of Mr. Padilla's associates. So that's why he put them into the Econ River today. It was very murky, and they did not come up with anything.
To Leonard Padilla, bounty hunter, helping to search for Caylee Anthony. He first posted that $500,000 bond to set the top mom free. Later came off that bond. Tell me about the search this weekend, Leonard.
Well, as Mark stated, that's what triggered it when we found the picture Thursday, and we followed it up by finding a small bead at the base of that tree where the cross is no longer hanging. And then we got to thinking past the point of she parked there on the 25th in the morning, turned her phone off. It was off for 4 hours, and we put the divers in the water, but it's 1.5 to 2 foot of sludge. It's like a garbage dump out there with all the stuff in the Econ River, and it's just, they worked at it for 4 or 5 hours, but it's just impossible to find anything in there.
To renowned medical examiner and author Dr. Joshua Perper joining us tonight. Doctor, thank you for being with us.
Sure.
Doctor, if a body had been in that river all of these months, what would you expect to find?
Well, there might be still some soft tissue, but it would be very advanced decomposition, which would make it virtually impossible to determine the nature of soft tissue injury. If they are bone fracture, that's different. But in my opinion, the body probably it's not in Florida, because this kind of very bad smell in the car indicated that there was a decomposed body there probably more than 2 days, and she had, whoever was in the car, sufficient time to transport it in another state.
To Dr. Perper again, does water, such as in this river, accelerate or slow decomposition of the human body?
Well, the decomposition rate is faster on the ground, and it's slower in water, and it's slowest in the ground. So it's a middle stage of rapidity of decomposition. But again, there's already quite a lot of time, so the decomposition even in water would be quite advanced if the body
Dr.
is ever found.
Over 2,000 searchers searching for little Caylee this weekend. If she were above the ground or buried in a shallow grave, what would you expect to find in those circumstances?
Well, it depends how deep she's buried. Probably she's not buried very deep. Again, there would be decomposition, which would make the examination and evaluation of the wounds very difficult, but it would be better than finding on the surface of the ground or in the water.
Natisha Lance is joining us in Orlando. She was at the search all weekend. Tell me about the search, Natisha.
Well, they were able to clear 23 of these 132 areas that Mark Williams was talking about, and they were searching that 200 square mile area. Once again, Nancy, they were searching Moss Park, J. Blanchard Park, wooded areas near the Anthony home, as well as wooded areas near the Orlando airport. Now, today, they covered another smaller area, which was the Econ Trail, which is near Highway 417. And once again, like Mark Williams was saying, members of EquiSearch will be going on to North Carolina, but they are still planning to come back and continue the search for Caylee.
To Kathy Bellich with WFTV. Kathy, this was a very long and exhaustive search. What do you believe is the next step?
Well, investigators did not join this dive today. They were supporting EquiSearch in its search. But I'm hearing that there's a good chance that her body won't be found after all of this time. And as Tim Miller said, he's hoping for more information from Casey before they know where to go next. If EquiSearch comes back with volunteers, they may try to cover the rest of these areas they didn't get to. But it's been a long time.
To Leonard Padilla, bounty hunter searching for Caylee, what were the conditions of the search? What was it like out there searching this weekend?
Well, the conditions are tough. The volunteers really have to struggle through the brush. It's just thick. It's dry. The ground is dry, but I'm telling you, the thickets are very, very thick, and the places they chose are just it's just very difficult. Now, the dive that we did today is completely different because it was just in the water there, 12 foot offshore, which made it a lot easier. But the water was very cold and murky.
The search taking up the entire weekend with over 2,000 searchers for little Caylee. The search goes on. To Leonard Padilla, bounty hunter, helping to search for her. You've taken a lot of heat for searching for Caylee, which I do not understand. You're doing more than a lot of people are doing.
Well, that's just me. You know, I've told people I draw a lot of heat no matter
But why?
what I
Heat for what? What did you allegedly do wrong?
Well, according to Cindy, her granddaughter's alive, and I'm letting people think that she's dead by conducting a search for a body rather than a live person.
Well, what about that indictment for murder one? Doesn't that sway people to believe the little girl has passed away?
She says the FBI and Orange County don't know what they're talking about, that her granddaughter is alive, and the kid from, the guy from Kid Finders or whatever it is has got them convinced to keep this thing going.
To Alex Sanchez, Lauren Lake, and Susan Moss, very quickly, Lauren Lake, if they do not find Caylee's remains ever, what will that mean for the case?
Well, that means it helps the defense. It helps the defense if Casey actually did it, because it can't tie together a lot of the circumstantial evidence. But if the body would prove otherwise, that someone else did it, then it hurts the defense.
Alex?
Yeah, I mean, the failure of that massive group to locate that child is a victory for the defense. And it keeps hope alive that that child is possibly out there somewhere, and the jury's going to be made aware of that.
It doesn't affect the case forward, March.
I want to thank our attorneys, Susan Moss, Lauren Lake, Alex Sanchez, and all our other guests. But let's stop now and remember Marine Lance Corporal James Kemple, 21, Carroll, Ohio, killed Iraq. On a second tour, awarded the Purple Heart, loved books and serving his family and country, dreamed of a military career, leaves behind mom and stepdad, Kate and John, 2 brothers, widow Amber, 3 children. James Kemple, American hero. Thanks to our guests, but especially you for being with us. See you tomorrow night, 8 o'clock sharp Eastern. And until then, good night, friend.